Isabella here, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, as you guys can tell, we're going to be talking about the Brittany Dawn hearing. I have been dying to get my hands on this. Finally, the Brittany Dawn hearing for the start of her actual court case is kicking off, and the way that we're going to cover it and talk about how bad she is even still with this lawsuit against Texas. But first of all, we have to talk about something else important. Hold up. I usually skip this part. Oh! We have a new neon sign. So I got a new neon sign and it says Angel because, you know, I was like, it's time for a change. I needed to get something like this because I love calling all my subscribers angels. And then with the Angel Talk series kicking off, I was like, oh my God, like... Okay, so it looks really good right now. That is it. Okay, let's actually really hop into it though. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell button down below. All of my links, like my blog channel and everything else, are in the description below. And now without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so let's do a little bit of a recap on the entire Brittany Dawn situation, just to give a bit of a refresher, because there are some specific details within the situation that are super duper important. So this year, the state of Texas is suing Dallas-Fort Worth social media influencer Brittany Dawn Davis over a fitness plan scheme it claims violated consumer protection laws and misled followers with eating disorders who bought into it. So if you guys haven't seen the original deep dive that I did on Brittany Dawn, we did actually cover this pretty heavily. And she literally had years and years ago, when some of the fitness influencer stuff really started to kick off, she had this entire plan that she created that was allegedly customized for all the people who purchased in. The Attorney General's office is seeking between $250,000 and $1 million in penalties and court fees, according to the lawsuit filed February 1st in Dallas County Court. Davis's business, Brittany Dawn Fitness, sold online fitness packages that cost as much as $300 to thousands of consumers beginning in 2014. The plans were not individualized as promised, and Davis failed to provide the promised coaching and check-ins according to the lawsuit. And again, I want to continue on by saying as well other details, such as there was different types of packages. There was supposed to be more like custom one-on-one help and support, which there was not of. And again, the reports and the, I believe, like Facebook groups and things like that started to pretty much grow and manifest to where the news got a hold of it, and then everyone was talking about the Brittany Dawn fitness situation. Now, again, 2014 is a hot minute ago. I was 14 years old during that year, so like, that is literally 8 years ago. Huh? With all this happening though, and the fact that this is all conspired, finally we're actually getting into the lawsuit. So my big thing right now here, right off the bat, that I will always say is we have had years for this to get properly fixed. We have had years where this could have been solved, people could have been refunded, and again, not saying that her original actions were proper at all, but if she was at all remorseful and actually had a change of heart, she could have fixed that shit. However, she did not. So let's get into the rest of this information. So the hearing starts off with Brittany, that's of course kind of watching. She's not at all speaking at all with this, which I'm not surprised. But then she has her attorneys and other people that are there. And so it starts actually arguing off with saying, hey, we want to get this started. So again, I don't know too much about court cases and hearings and everything. So if there's any other people who see these clips that I insert in these videos that are professionals or a part of this type of topic, whether you're lawyers, whatever the case may be, I'd love for your guys' input and feedback and perspectives on this because I think it's really important. So at first, again, it starts off with everyone just kind of doing their little bit of introduction, who's speaking, who's not, and then it kind of dives into a discussion of why they're here and what the hearing is for. And so with this, we actually have a little bit of a summary about how, again, they are trying to sue for damages. Now, they're actually alleging that Brittany made at least $1 million off of this. $1 million. How do you even do that? Like, I'm actually genuinely amazed because that also shows the amount of people who are screwed over, in my opinion, because this is showing if the max was $300, right? And then again, some of the packages could be a little bit cheaper than that. How many people did it take for her to lie and manipulate to in order to hit that $1 million mark? That is insane. And again, like, if it's $1 million that they're alleging that she made off of that, and that's not including like paying for lawyer fees. So I think they're trying to get at least a little bit of compensation back. And then also the lawyer fees, because this is very expensive. And again, guys, this is not like just a basic lawsuit by any means. And I mean, I'm saying basic as in like two other people that like it's their own little world, right? This is a entire state that is suing this woman and saying, hi, you violated consumer laws. You actually literally scam people. There are people that I have reports of that you did not provide for. And again, Brittany's over there just sitting silently in her fucking corner, and it just blows my mind. So then originally their first argument with this as well, with the it's Texas side pretty much, they start to discuss how they want to get this thing into high gear, they want to get it running, and then they also start vocalizing how there was a lack of actual alleged support with this situation. So by that, I mean, like, when they're requesting for certain paperwork and documents to be turned in, apparently Brittany Dawn is actually not doing a very good job of that. So, for example, there was a conversation, which I will put over here.
Would ask that you provide a firm deadline to provide complete and verified responses. And in our motion, we set 10 days on something that's already been 158 days in the making. In this case, we are alleging that the defendants have made over $1 million in the sale of online fitness packages to thousands of consumers throughout the country with the promise of personalized nutritional guidance and fitness coaching. The plans themselves on the websites ranged from $92 for a one-time consultation or a 1-month training and fitness plan to $300 or more for multiple months of training and fitness. However, the state alleges that these nutrition and fitness plans were not individualized. The defendants failed to provide the promised coaching and modifications, and that so something that started at the tail end of 2013, 2014, we're not 100% sure on that start date yet, abruptly ended in early 2019 after national media ran stories about these consumer complaints. A group of consumers had banded together and started making noise about what they felt was an injustice. But our goal was to get at the meat and potatoes of this case quickly so that we could jump into depositions and be ready for trial. Now, defendant's attorney requested and plaintiff granted 4 extensions for a total of an additional 48 days to respond to this discovery. Again, acknowledging that it was a comprehensive amount of material we were requesting, wanted to work with them. So defendants had until Friday, June 24th to respond. They did not timely respond. They, on Monday, June 27th, served incomplete and inadequate responses. That's Exhibit A to the state's motion, which we won't go through line by line. I'm not going to waste the court's time. Defendants agreed to provide complete and objection-free responses. Defendants did not respond by that July 25th, additional month. Instead, the day after the 25th, I had to send an email going, essentially, where are the responses? Within 8 minutes of my email, we got where I said I would unfortunately be needing to file a motion to compel and involve the court in this dispute. We got an immediate response that they would be serving responses shortly, et cetera, et cetera. July 27th, so 2 days later, they served defendants' first amended responses. And you'll see in those responses, they have removed all of their objections. Unfortunately, even with the objections removed, it's still evasive and incomplete. For example, things like, we will supplement later. Your Honor, supplementing later from a plaintiff's perspective doesn't work. Now, at 11:15 at night, Your Honor, they also e-filed a defendant's response to the motion to compel. And Your Honor, plaintiff takes some issue with the way that things are characterized as far as the timeline and extensions. The factual summary in there is inaccurate and incomplete. Defendants seem to imply that they had made efforts to, seek a fifth extension, and that somehow that fourth deadline was maybe the plaintiff's fault that the responses were deemed late.
And again, this conversation is pretty much saying, hey, we need to have all of the documents and everything submitted, and they haven't yet. Why have they not? And I don't feel like that there's a lot of cooperation on Brittany's end, which I fully agree with this guy. I don't think there's enough cooperation at all. And the fact that it's taken so long, and again, I wanted to vocalize, it's been 8 years since the original beginning of the 2014 stuff. And again, I know more stuff actually continued on throughout the years. There's still a massive chunk of time that you could have taken to make sure that your shit was taken care of. And so it blows my mind because they're like, hi, we don't have certain paperwork. Why don't we? And I fully agree with that, because here's my thought process as well. One, this proves to me that this was not at all customized work. And the reason why is, if this was customized, you would have had documents saved a long time ago of the customized work. Now, here's my additional thought process with this. It was a long time ago, or before this lawsuit was even put into effect, the backlash and everything everything came from it, and even before her Christian rebranding. And so my thing is if she already knew, she already had all this stuff and knew about the people that were having problems to the point where she apparently said that they wouldn't get refunds unless they signed NDAs. If you had that a long time ago, why the hell wouldn't you already save it if you were in deep shit consumer-wise after that, okay? And again, like, I'm not saying that every customer or consumer has to have everything completely saved for every customer. Like, I get after so long, there's only so much, hard drive storage. What I'm getting at is if you already are like, oh shit, I have people that are like coming to me and saying, I fucked up, you save that stuff so that way you have proof that you fixed it, or just the entire thing is saved as a whole so that way you can properly handle it and make sure that is 100% resolved so that way you can move forward. Like, again, for example, I'm gonna tell you right now, I actually, I remember one time I had someone purchase my merch, and it was actually during a time where my website was under construction, and I messed up. I did not put the proper locks on my website so that way certain pieces of merch were not to be sold or visible, and somebody purchased the merch. Now, I thought I had canceled the order and refunded her, and I messed up. I didn't do it properly, but I thought I had, and I got an email from her again, and she actually made an additional order and said, hey, I didn't receive this and I didn't get a refund, and I felt so bad. So what I did is I had the entire conversation that we had saved, of course, because I wanted to make sure that I had good recollection and memory of that. But then additionally, what I did was I fully refunded her for the original purchase, and the new purchase that she made, I fully refunded as well. So I took a loss for that. But that's good customer service. That's what you do when you fuck up. You take responsibility, you save that documents just in case you need to, so that way you have proof that you did handle it properly, and then you move on. And that's not what Brittany did.
Defendants hold the cards. We're in their responses to interrogatories and in their request for disclosure, they are denying the allegations of the state. They're denying these violations. And one such example is basically saying, Your Honor, that all these consumers received the coaching that they were promised. And that is a statement that was made, verified in these interrogatories, that they received all the coaching. Well, Your Honor, that's against the greater weight of hundreds of consumers who have come forward to the state and said, we didn't receive the coaching we had requested. So to that end, Your Honor, I need to see it all. I need to see all the material to understand who did and didn't receive coaching so that we can determine as is a core DTPA, instructions, the nature, extent, gravity of the alleged violations. Under the DTPA, in order for me to be able to prove to Your Honor and to a jury the nature, extent, and gravity of the violations, it is essential, it is necessary that the state receive these documents and these evidence. And what I don't want to have happen, Your Honor, is for us to get to trial and have received what we believe is complete documents and prepare a case to present to a jury to say, this is what has happened. These were the consumers who did or didn't receive their promised coaching, and then to have defendants testify or try to produce evidence at that 11th hour going, well, no, we actually do have emails of that, or we did have coaching of that. I just didn't produce it at the time. I didn't find it at the time. Your Honor, that's exactly the type of thing we're trying to proactively prevent by asking this court to say, the defendants need to produce everything, or they need to be at risk of issue sanctions for not complying, or discovery sanctions.
And especially to add on, this was not customizable at all, because if it was customizable, you would have had individual types of files, because how the fuck do you customize work for thousands and thousands of consumers that are purchasing maybe around $300 things, and then it totaled up to around $1 million in sales? It's not customized work at all. So right there, it's not even as if they can truly argue, and hell they might, they can't even truly argue that it was customized work and that people were gaslighting her or making things up. They can't even do that at all. So it's just absolutely devastating to me too, because this is still going on right now, and this is being drug out for years after. So then additionally, they were allowed to have a counter argument here. So with this, they were trying to say, hey, Your Honor, hi, I'm Brittany's lawyer, or whatever. Again, I'm just making jokes here, but hi, I'm Brittany's lawyer, and while we're doing our best and we're cooperating, it just takes a lot of time to get our documents together. Are you positively, absolutely, fucking for real kidding me? Stop that. And again, I don't fall for that, because they kept bringing up this thing of well, it just takes time. We need more time. I'm sorry. Brittany, baby, you've had years to get this shit on lockdown. Something happens, as a person who is remorseful, feels bad, and is a changed woman, as she has so claimed to be, you would think that you would go out of your way to contact individuals, find a way to make sure you got money back to them. Go out of your way. I don't give a fuck if you take a loss for that. That's not anyone else's fault but yours. You were the one that lied and manipulated people to begin with. That's my thing, is if you fuck up that bad, you should be expecting to take a hit and a loss financially to make sure shit is taken care of for customer service, and she did not. Now, again, additionally, they did have an argument where they were like, well, like, the PayPal's struggling, and we're locked out of PayPal, and certain things are having problems, and like, it was individual purchases through PayPal, so like, we need to put it in a system. We don't really have that.
Thus far, we produced 52,747 pages of documents. That is the entirety of the documents that Ms. Nelson has responsive to the AG's request. She doesn't have anything else in her possession at this time. They have it all. I believe the main thing that the AG wants at this point, and we don't mind giving it to them, Your Honor, it's just that it's gonna take additional time. A number of plans, there is no master list or any list at all of customers. So it literally will require, and it has required, our client to go through each page of these documents and physically type in the name, identify the name, address, and telephone number of each consumer, and identify the month and year the consumer purchased the plan. We don't mind doing it. In our response, we simply say they may be better suited to do it, but in our order, if you read our order, we ask that you either deny their motion or that you give us a reasonable amount of time to complete this task. Thus far, our clients have, we produced 1,500 names in a chart that satisfies 5D and 7A and B. We believe that we probably have about 3,500 more to go, and it's just a tedious task. We referenced.
Let me just ask a question regarding, I guess, how this information is kept. If this is an online sales, online transactions, I guess why would you have to go through them physically if it's being captured online at some point in time? Just a question on my end, trying to understand how the information is maintained.
Yes, Your Honor. So for first things first, all transactions were conducted through PayPal, all payment transactions. Our client has been locked out of her PayPal account. We've communicated that to the Attorney General's office. We've even mentioned that maybe they should subpoena the PayPal account because our client does not have access to it. And it's in their Exhibit E, where we mentioned that. We told them the difficulties we were having in getting in PayPal. In Exhibit F, their Exhibit E. In their Exhibit F, we discussed the difficulties our client was having.
And again, the judge is literally sitting here like, since it was online, can't you download everything? Which honestly, yeah, my thought process is like, oh, if you make orders, you can download most of that data. That's not hard. But since it was more individual purchases through PayPal, and apparently she was allegedly locked out of PayPal, which, I mean, again, we don't know what that's for. It could have been locked out for fraud, or again, that's all alleged. But they're claiming that that's the reason why they don't have all the documents is because she's locked out of PayPal. It's a very tedious process and it's really hard to get everything together. And I'm just literally, what the fuck were you doing, Brittany? Were you just singing hymns and ignoring this until you couldn't anymore? Like, I mean, like, the fact that they still don't have all the documents here, they're like, well, it's tedious. We have had a long time. Brittany could have been very proactive and had everything taken care of from the get-go, but she didn't. And now we're here and we're still asking for more time from a judge. Because again, there's additional conversations that are like, okay, well, how much more time do you really need? It doesn't seem like you're cooperating. How embarrassing. How embarrassing to be the same woman that gets on here and be like, I'm saved, I'm better, I can do no wrong, da 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 da. And I mean, okay, cool, you're religious, that's fine. But mooching off of this concept of being a woman empowering Christian when you clearly don't give a shit and are dragging ass on your own problems that you created that you could have solved years ago, and even still when you are literally getting sued by the state of Texas, you literally are not rushing to get this fixed. Though we actually had the side of Texas pretty much saying, hey, like, sorry, but this is expensive. When you get sued by people, when you get sued by the state, this is expensive. You are not going to like get through this cheap. And so they're like, I don't know why they haven't actually paid for a third-party program to pull this data or try to push other ways and avenues of getting access to this information. And I'm trusting this guy for the Texas thing because he knows for sure that you can probably pull data to get things fixed. And they're like, well, we have to pull it individually. It's hard. All fucking excuses at this point. But additionally, that's what's happening right now. The judge actually said that they had, I think, like less than a month to actually get this done because I got sent this link, actually literally on my drive to the airport to New York. I have a certain amount of time to get it done. So yeah, the 30th is coming up very quickly, and hopefully in the next couple months, I believe, is when this actual trial is going to kick off. And so then we could actually see all the evidence and everything, which I'm honestly so excited for, because a lot of people are going to get answers. They're going to hopefully get some sort of compensation, or at least some relief that this person is going to actually be held accountable. And this, honestly, $1 million or even 250,000, that is an insane amount. But again, like, she's carrying on her life like this is not a big deal. There's absolutely no conversation about this on social media. Even like if you, again, like even if Brittany fixed it but was still getting sued, and again, okay, whatever, but if you're doing everything under your power and then you continuously say and address the situation and say what you have done and what you are doing to like fix this, and I'm sure her attorney would probably approve that if it was worded properly, I don't know why that's so wrong. Like, you could do that easily, but yet we're not even doing anything to show full remorse, in my opinion. We're just slapping this whole, well, I rebranded and I'm saved, so therefore none of that matters. It does matter. You hurt a lot of people, you scammed them, and for the past several years of knowing people were upset at you, you didn't think at all to go out of your way to refund them. And that's another point I actually want to make is, again, let's say she had no true way of getting of fixing the PayPal situation. Have personal one-on-one conversations with these people, or if you did talk with them, or if you sent mass text messages, you have those numbers, right? So even if you were blocked out of PayPal, my thing, what I would have done, what I think any normal person would do if they were desperate to fix it, is they would go out of their way to get those contact emails and say, hey, my PayPal's not working. Where can I send you money, or how can I send you money to refund you for this fully? It's a bitch, but when you create the situation, get the fuck over it, because she could have fixed that in a matter of a year. But no, here we are. So I can't wait to have a little watch party apparently for this damn case. Additionally though, another point that I wanted to make that I actually wanted to re-highlight from my previous video that I made about Brittany Dawn was her and her husband with the foster care system. Now I have highlighted her and her husband. Her husband is a disgusting human being. He is not a good person that I would trust. He sounds excessively dangerous and unsafe. And then of course with Brittany right now, with just how she is and her, I'm sorry, but cult way of thinking about religion. And the reason being that I'm mentioning this is they have talked about fostering and becoming foster parents. Now, one of the biggest things that I'm very uncomfortable with is the fact that Brittany can get sued by the state of Texas. Her husband can literally be shown to use excessive force on somebody, but they're able to foster a child? And pardon me, there are so many other people that should be doing that. They should not. Well, I don't even know why they're allowed to. And that's what's so nasty to me is literally I saw today as I was recording this, the post about, oh, they're painting the foster room, they're doing this, they're doing that. And one, I'm going to already say this right here too. I do not trust the moral compass of any one of them, because if Brittany can have no remorse at all for screwing over thousands of people, and then her other husband has no problem with using excessive force and being a racist piece of shit, then what the hell are you doing? Your moral compass is non-existent, in my opinion. Your moral compass is shit. You are not a good or logical person, in my opinion. And I'm very, very concerned for the safety and well-being, whether it's physical or mental safety of those children, or whatever child goes into that home. And then additionally too, I am actually very concerned because I've always gotten the vibe of mommy blogger from Brittany, and I don't know the rules, regulations, or anything like that with that and foster children. I'm sure there's not a lot. But what I will say is Brittany went out of her way to record many people. For example, there was a homeless man, I believe, and I don't really know the situation too well, but Brittany recorded and had a lot of like conversations about this homeless man and tried to get him into rehab, I believe, and she just would record that stuff, which is very personal and weird. And my thing is, I feel like she is going to use any foster child as a photo op. I personally think that's what's going to happen, and I'm very concerned for that because, and again, I don't know the foster care system very well, but from what I have seen through social media and other people that I've talked to who have been through the system, there's a lot of trauma and horrible things that go on with that, and that's such a terrifying and difficult experience to go through, especially for a child. And so for a child to already deal with that, then possibly deal with the other things that come with for Brittany and her husband being parents, and then possibly being shoved out online to other people, that is very, very scary. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about with this. Honestly, really hope that she doesn't post the child on social media. I don't think it's necessary to do that. And then also I will kind of keep eyes out for the rest of this court hearing and anything else that happens, whatever happens with this case, because I am very excited to see someone actually held accountable. So that was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay glad, my beautiful queens. Love you. Bye.